What if I told you that the Bulls have the 4th best defense in the NBA since the All-Star break? Not only is their defense one of the best in the league, but they've also got the 2nd best net rating in the NBA, and they're 12-7 over this span. Yeah, the Bulls do have guys like Alex Caruso, a player that I'd consider to be pretty much a lock for an all-defensive team this year, and they picked up Patrick Beverley, who's obviously notorious for his defense, but Zach LaVine has always been scrutinized for his defensive struggles, and really there's a lot of guys on this roster that aren't exactly known for their defensive contributions. Yet somehow, they've been an elite defensive team. In this video, I want to talk about how Billy Donovan has gotten them to buy into a defensive identity and scheme that makes use of everyone's strengths and does a good job of minimizing their weaknesses in pretty much the best way possible. But first, we gotta pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. With Underdog's NBA Pick'em, they make it super simple to win big. They've got individual player props to pick from for every single NBA game. All you have to do is pick higher or lower, and once you have your slip, make your wager and hit submit. You can make wagers for as low as $1 and win anywhere from 3 times your money all the way up to 20 times your money. I've been having a lot of luck lately with Mikal Bridges and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, so I'm going to take higher on Mikal's rebounds and Shai's points, and I'll also pick higher on Jalen Williams' assists. Then all you got to do is choose how much you want to wager, and you can even insure your picks so that even if one of your picks doesn't hit, you can still win. Then all you do is hit submit and you're done. If you put $100 in, you'll get $100 free to play with. Be sure to play responsibly, and thanks again to Underdog for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. One of the most important things that a team needs to be able to do is defend the pick and roll effectively. It's one of the most common plays in basketball because not only is it simple, but it just works. But the Bulls have ironed out their approach to defending pick and rolls, and it's pretty interesting stuff. So right off the bat, we have Isaiah Jackson coming to set the screen, and Drummond is going to come up to the elbow to guard the roll and shade McConnell towards the paint, with Patrick Williams sinking a little bit to provide help if necessary. Now what's important to pay attention to here is Coby White. He was originally matched up in the corner, but he's going to sink in and provide weak side help at the rim. Now normally what this does is open up a ball reversal to the corner for an open shot, but the Bulls have figured out how to mitigate this. Levine is going to rotate to the corner and shut down the shot. In theory, this leaves the pass open to the top of the key, but this is where things are going to get even more interesting. Once the ball is in the corner, both Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu are going to rotate to guard that potential pass. The Pacers then get into another pick and roll, but Levine switches onto Nora and plays some solid straight up defense to force the miss. Let's take a look at another example. The Nuggets get into the pick and roll, and Dosunmu is cutting off the pass to the roll man, and Vooch is covering the drive. And Patrick Williams is the man to watch here because he's already sunk into the paint to guard anything inside. This leaves Coby White in an almost 2-on-1 situation. The Bulls' general philosophy is that White is supposed to go wherever the ball goes from here, and that will become his man. And it's then on Patrick Williams to recover from there, whether it's to the man up top or the corner man. Now things get even more interesting when they opt to trap ball handlers. The Nuggets are going to reset to get into another pick and roll, but White shades him right into the help, and once Jackson is forced to backtrack, that's when Patrick Williams is going to apply more pressure, forcing the ball loose, and Jackson ends up having to hoist up a bad shot as the shot clock runs out. Another big aspect of this new defensive approach is their overall communication. Caruso recognizes that the Blazers are about to get into an empty corner pick and roll, so he directs Patrick Williams to guard the drive or the roll to the paint, which leaves Caruso as the one responsible for the 2 on the wing. This completely shuts down the action, and Beverley and Patrick Williams play some textbook defense as the shot clock expires. Zach LaVine is a guy who's pretty frequently knocked for his defense, which for the most part it's been fair, but since the Bulls have made adjustments to their defensive approach and taken on this new defensive identity, that hasn't been the case. He's been really smart about where he needs to be to provide help. He starts out guarding Maxey, but he recognizes the screen coming from Embiid, so he has Patrick Beverley switch onto him while Vucevic drops, but even though Levine is technically switched onto Harden now, he's still there at the nail to provide help if Maxey snakes the pick and roll and gets around Vucevic. Once Harden and Embiid get back into the pick and roll, Levine navigates the screen well, keeping his hand up to crowd the passing lane, and he provides a good contest on Harden's shot at the rim and forces the miss. That pick and roll defense that I was talking about at the beginning of the video sometimes results in Zach LaVine being the help defender at the rim, which you might think is a bad situation to be in, but the results are actually pretty good. Maxey breaks through the defense to get up the middle, but LaVine knows that it's his responsibility to step up and provide that help defense at the rim, and 𝙖𝙗𝙤𝙪's going to be the one to cover the wing, so LaVine provides the help and he's able to force Maxey into a miss. When the Sixers run this play for Niang to enter the paint and exit on the other side off of the down screen, LaVine navigates it really well, not getting caught up on the screen and forcing Niang into the defense from Drummond, which leads to a block. I'm still not really sure how much of this with LaVine is real and how much of it is just kind of a flash in the pan, but he's been consistent enough lately that I'm fine with calling him a good defender right now in the context of the team and what they're asking him to do. Of course, while LaVine has been solid defensively, the really impressive part of their defense as a whole has been their guard play and perimeter defense, which has been helped by Alex Caruso's all-defensive team campaign and the acquisition of Patrick Beverley. It's allowed them to do a lot of switching and to shut down ball handlers coming off of screens. Caruso is one of the best point of attack defenders in the league, and he can shut down actions before the opposing team is even able to start them. He senses this screen coming behind him, so he uses the baseline as an extra defender, and he forces Maledon to reject the first screen, and while he's trying to recover the ball, Caruso goes under the second screen to shut down the pick and roll. He gets in front of Maledon's drive and makes him change directions, staying on his hip until he sees Maledon going up for the shot, swiping his hand down to get the block. The Bulls are not afraid to switch, so after he initially is matched up against Siakam at the start of this possession, he gets caught up in this back screen from Fred VanVleet, and when Scottie Barnes bursts by Vucevic to get downhill, Caruso steps in front of him to slow his momentum, and then he just plays some straight up defense to force the miss. Caruso doesn't exactly have a strict defensive spot, so to speak. He's often put up against mismatches, and he can operate as sort of a free safety on defense. With the Grizzlies running the pick and roll up top and Brooks cutting to the paint, Caruso sinks towards the restricted area to give some help on Tillman. Now, once White goes to send an extra body at Ja, Caruso has to be the guy defending Tillman, and despite the size advantage that Tillman has, Caruso's able to get physical with him and disrupt the pass for the steal. On this play, he's originally on Ja Morant, and he sinks towards the paint. He's actually able to provide help for Vucevic against Jaren Jackson, managing to block the shot. He's able to be in so many different places at once, and he's such a problem for opposing teams because he can deceive you into thinking that you lost him just for him to sneak right back up behind you and shut you down again. Let's talk about Chicago's overall perimeter defense because they've taken a more modern approach, heavily predicated on lots of switching. It's been really effective. Williams is on Harris near the elbow, but he's going to switch onto Maxey instead. While Patrick Beverley is applying pressure on Harris, Patrick Williams prevents the pass to Maxey near half court to reset. Now in theory, Maxey can drive to get the handoff from Harris and he's going to get a good head of steam going downhill, but the Bulls switch it with Beverley shutting him down entirely, forcing Reed to now come up and try to get something going, and from there the Bulls just play some textbook defense and they force the miss. Having Patrick Williams and some guards as the defenders against pick and rolls is going to create a lot of problems for one opposing player or another, and with how good 𝙖𝙗𝙤𝙪, Patrick Beverley, Caruso, and 𝙖𝙗𝙗𝙪 𝙖𝙗𝙗𝙪 have been on the defensive end, it's really difficult to get away with anything against them. There's just always going to be somebody there. The last thing that I want to talk about with their newfound defensive success is actually how effective Vucevic has been as a defender lately. He's not the most mobile big man in the world, but his ability to defend the rim and simultaneously prevent passes to the roll man and the pick and roll has been an important factor for their defensive success. Here, when Sabonis is rolling and he's guarding Fox's drive, he makes sure that there's no chance of any pass to Sabonis on the roll, actually letting Fox get a bit of space going towards the basket. He manages to jump with Fox and contest the shot perfectly, getting the block without fouling. Now, Fox is going to reject the screen from Sabonis, and Vucevic creates this triple team pocket to prevent the drive with Levine and Dosunmu, and he guards Sabonis in the paint while Dosunmu forces Fox into the mid-range that results in a miss. Vooch has also been really good at hedging against the pick and roll, which is usually pretty risky, but something that the Bulls have been having success with when they've decided to use it. Reed comes to screen for Maxey, and instead of staying with him, Vucevic instead hedges against him, with Levine forcing him into a trap up top, before Vucevic then recovers to guard any entry pass to Paul Reed. Then when Maxey drives against Levine, Vucevic is there to provide help and get the rebound. He just does a really good job of occupying as much space as possible, and even though he's not necessarily the most versatile big man in the world, even though he's not the fastest or the best shot blocker, he does what they need him to do, and he does it well. It's pretty unusual for a team to experience such a significant turnaround, especially on the defensive end, but the Bulls have managed to do just that. Does this newfound defense magically turn them into contenders? Probably not, but they're still in the hunt for a playoff spot, so if they can continue to rack up wins as this season closes out, they're not going to be an easy out for whoever they run into in the first round. And for a season that's been kind of up and down for them, they have a real opportunity to end on a high note. Huge thank you to all of my patrons for helping make these videos possible. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more like this, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. That's the #1 way to support me and help me continue making content. If you want to help support the channel further, you can click the link in the description to become a patron. Thanks again to Underdog for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to hit that link below and sign up now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.